Once upon a time, in a village named Uzuku, lived a very prestigious and a prominent king called Eze. He was a highly reputable and a respected king in the entire region, who lived and led his subjects by example. Eze had a very large family, many wives, children, and servants. Unlike every other king, Eze farmed and hunted whatever his family needed to survive. He believed any king that relied on his subjects for food and offerings can hardly be upright, mostly when faced with matters concerning their favorite sponsors or donors. He was a passionate hunter and a farmer, just like his subjects, but he was a prominent king loved by his people and beyond. He usually goes for hunting with his male servants in the thick forest of Uzuku. Once they got to the forest, he strategically took his hunting positions, just like his servants. They only assembled once it's time to return to the palace. Among all his servants, there was one named Amobi. He was never comfortable seeing the king hunting every time with them. He couldn't do anything about it, since they all knew it's his passion and lifestyle. One fateful Afro market day, Eze and his servants went for hunting as usual. He was optimistic and happy when he sighted a very big antelope. He was determined to hunt it, as he quickly laid ambush for the antelope. Little did he know that the antelope had a bigger plan for him. Eventually, the hunter became the hunted. As the antelope attacked and almost killed the king, he struggled and yelled for help. None held him because of the distance. Only Amobi, whom was always blamed for his inability to concentrate on his sport. Instead, he dedicated all his time checking on the king, making sure he's okay. Even when the king assured and reassured him he's okay, Amobi doesn't take his word for it. In most cases, the king is always provoked and annoyed with him. Amobi, as usual, sneaked to check up on the king, but couldn't find him around his spot. He anxiously called him out, but didn't hear any response. He called his name loud. Eze Monyuku, Eze Monyuku, where are you? He heard the king's fainting voice calling for help. Help, I am here, trapped down by this antelope. He traced the voice while calling on other servants. He got there and saw the king almost killed by the antelope. Amobi shot the antelope and saved the king. They treated his wound and they head to the palace. The king's wives and children and the entire villagers, hearing what happened, celebrated the king's survival. But Eze couldn't stop pondering what would have become of him if Amobi didn't intervene on time to salvage the situation, despite being cautioned several times to let him be whenever they are hunting. He couldn't help but think of the most rewarding way to appreciate Amobi for saving his life. He suddenly realized Amobi never had kids nor married, just like every other servant in the palace. The king informed Amobi and all the other servants that they are going to embark on a journey. He fixed the dates and gave instructions to all for the preparation towards the dates. On the D-Day, the king handed Amobi a royal robe and instructed him to put it on. Amobi did as instructed and wore the royal garments. They started the journey alongside with the rest servants. Amobi, overwhelmed with happiness, knelt before the king and asked for his permission to make a wish. The king said, "Go ahead, you can only make one wish." Amobi said, "Eze Monyuku, ni tone ife o." He said, "King, I am not worthy to put on this royal garment, but you, my king, found me worthy of it today. May I humbly request and wish that nobody addresses me as a servant, at least Let me feel myself for the entire day." The king nodded as he told Amobi that his wish would be granted. Instantly, Eze-Onyukwu instructed all the rest servants not to address Amobi as a servant till they return from the journey. King Onyukwu and his servants were received and celebrated by Ugbonta King Eze-Giono and his people. Their long-awaited arrival was a ceremony. Different cultural performances were carried out in the market square in honor of the prominent king Eze-Onyukwu by his friend Eze-Giono. All of a sudden, it started raining while the celebration was still ongoing. Before Eze-Giono could lead King Eze-Onyukwu and Amobi, whom he thought was equally a king or the king's younger brother, to the royal lodge, they were already drenched by the rain. As soon as they lodged in their separate rooms, Amobi took off his royal garments and hung it on a bamboo dryer called akpata for the clothes to be dried with smoke. When the host king went in to check on them, he found the royal garments being smoked to dry. He was shocked as he wondered which king among his guests could do such an act. The following morning, he requested to talk about what he saw the previous night. "Eze-Onyukwu, I suspect we have an impostor in our midst in this royal banquet. Which king in his right senses would hang a royal garment over a local dryer? Akpata, Akpata my king, Akpata ijekika oka, for a royal garment to dry by smoke. It's only a slave attitude." Before King Onyukwu could respond, other kings responded that it is possible a slave sent by a king did it. Amobi couldn't bear it anymore. He walked towards Eze-Onyukwu and bowed and asked his permission to speak. King gave him permission to go ahead. "Amobi, ndị eze ekene m unu, ndị eze ekene m unu, nunu tone ife. I am the servant. My adorable king gifted me this royal garment. I begged of him to grant me a day without being addressed as a servant. Without hesitation, my king granted my request. Yet my attitude as a servant has exposed and betrayed me. I am sorry, I am not an impostor." The kings pardoned him and commended his courage to speak the truth. "Amobi, your king found you worthy of the royal garment. We found you worthy of the royal garment equally. Your ability to speak the truth no matter what is at stake made you a king in your heart. You have eaten and dined with us. You have become one of us." King Onyukwu stated the reason they visited is to find a bride for Amobi, who saved his life. Not just a bride, but a royal bride. Gladly, King Onyono gave Amobi one of his royal maidens, extremely beautiful as a bride. They were all happy as they performed the marriage rites. As they embarked on the journey back home, Amobi thanked the king so much for all he did for him, mostly when he disappointed him by hanging the royal garments on the local dryer, Akpata. The king laughed as he responded, "Attitude, they said, is like cough. It can never be suppressed. It finds a way to expose no matter how much you try to cover it, just like smoke. You did the right thing by saying the truth. Eventually, the truth made all the kings admired you and worthy of the royal garment that I gifted you. Today, you have a royal wife, and that automatically made you a royalty. Amobi, you are no longer a servant, but a royalty from today henceforth." Amobi was very happy. "Whatever your hands finds to do it with all your heart. Do it diligently. One day, God will surely bless the work of your hands.